What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to MLB Swing for the Fences here on Tuesday, April 22nd. Talking tonight's 10-game baseball slate. As always, on Tuesdays, joined by Mr. Steve Boynton. Steve, how you doing on this Tuesday afternoon?
Good. It was a fun weekend. Been enjoying the NBA playoffs. I don't watch much during the season, but last night actually for both the playoff sports was awesome. Some good NBA games, and then if you were up late, the hockey games had a great ending. I think JBC swept the bets in the bets chat. That's always fun. A couple of overtime games in the NHL street. So yeah, it was a fun night last night. And we have a really good slate tonight. You know, we've been talking throughout the afternoon. I did the playbook. You got your article up. We're pretty much in lockstep on this slate. So it should be fun. We've got 10 games, 11 games, something like that. Pretty good weather now that it's almost May throughout the country. So yeah, I'm pumped.
Yeah, we got some special guests today. First comment of the day was by Kevin Roth. So Kevin, thank you for joining the show today. And then of course, Uncle T on fire right now. Another big night. What did he win? 15K, something like that.
Yep.
I don't remember the exact total, but
NBA Showdown.
Yeah, awesome night for Uncle T in the NBA Showdown. He's been on fire. Good baseball scores too. Uncle T, always good to have you here. Everybody else in the chat, love to see it. And like you said, Steve, a lot of baseball to talk about, and I think this might be the best overall weather slate we've had of the young season, outside of maybe those very first two games, which were somehow awesome. But it's warming up. I think we're going to see some good offense today. There's we both think many good pitchers to pick from, right, that we feel are going to deliver. So I do think it's going to be a fun night of baseball for the RPS crew, and yeah, hopefully we'll pick some winners. This is like a slate back in my I would say even more irresponsible days when I'd have been like, fuck it, I'm betting 50% of the roll on this one, all in, send it in, and if it doesn't work, it'll we'll battle back tomorrow. Don't do that anymore, but this is a type of slate where I would have done that sometimes to great success and oftentimes not. So we'll keep it reasonable today, but excited to talk ball. Let's get into it. We start in New York, Philadelphia and the New York Mets here. We've got our guy, Christopher Sanchez, on the hill. Actually haven't had a lot of opportunity to talk about Sanchez just because he hasn't been on very many main slates, right? So we haven't done shows when he's been available to pitch, but pre-season, spring training Cy Young pick for me that has looked every bit the part so far. Does get a tough matchup here in the Mets, who obviously have very talented offense, and then Griffin Canning going up against the Phillies. Looks like normal lineup for the Phillies. We know the damage they can do, and decent hitting weather in Citi Field, although tough place to hit in general. Throw it over to you, Steve. What do you see, Phillies and Mets?
Yeah, gotta love Sanchez here. Had the same note as you. He hasn't really been on a main slate. Feels like the entire season. Of course, he was off the slate last time out when he just absolutely dominated. Put up 30 plus, 12 Ks against the Giants last week. Mets, kind of middle of the road against left-handed pitching. Clearly the toughest matchup of the top three arms that we'll talk about, Bassick, Bubic, and Sanchez. I think obviously the toughest matchup here is Sanchez, but I think the most talented arm of the three by far. So bet on talent spot for him. He's just cheap. DC, I think that, in a month we'll see Sanchez up around 10K. Hopefully, because that means that he's pitching well and we're continuing to play him. But he's a guy that we both believe in long term. He's on the road in a good park here. Like you said, the Mets can be pesky, but just going to bet on talent. I don't love a ton of arms. I'm going to be pretty concentrated around the top four guys for me, which we'll get into. But Sanchez, I think he's a really interesting pivot to Bubic, who I think in single entry is going to be 60-70% owned at that same price tag, obviously with a better matchup and slightly better projection. But I think that he vaults into ace territory this season. You do too. This is a great spot to be on him at what I think should be higher ownership. We're seeing under 25% on a slate where I just don't think that there are that many pitchers in play. So I'll be well over the field on Sanchez. I don't know if you want to talk about him more before we go into the bats. But
I'll talk more about Sanchez.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just kind of about how he's doing it. And, I guess this is like almost like me trying to convince people to play him. And then sometimes this backfires, right? And it doesn't work out. But Sanchez, the reason he's so much better than he's been in the past is because he's a changed pitcher. Like if you look at his strikeout numbers from last year, they're kind of unimpressive. But that changed late in the year.
Yep.
And then it continued over into spring where his velocity, so his like main pitch is now like a 97-mile-per-hour sinker that he pounds the bottom of the zone. And then he's got a changeup. And this is the pitch that just decimated the Giants, right? Who have been really, really good against left-handed pitching. Yeah, Devin Scott's got it. And it looks exactly like the 97-mile-per-hour sinker, right? And he's a tall dude. He's got
the same plane too.
The exact same plane from the same article, same arm angle rather. And so you have to gear up for 97 that he commands. And then there's a 86-mile-per-hour changeup off it. And if you guess wrong, it's a swing and a miss. And so he got whiffs on over half of the changeups he throws are swings and misses. And then he's got a good slider too, right? He's a horse. He can go deep into games. Like to me, you said evolving into an ace. I honestly think Sanchez is there. I think he's as good as anybody right now. So he's a guy I would play no matter who he was facing here, just because when you're that much higher on a player, you're just going to take the risk because it'll be, if nothing else, you'll get low ownership, right? Because they won't project well. So not that he doesn't project well. He does. The projections like him too. And this matchup isn't that bad. I mean, there are strikeouts to be had. A bunch of right-handed hitters, which I think looks a lot more intimidating than it actually is for Sanchez, whose best pitch is the changeup, which is best against opposite-handed hitters. So, yeah, yep. Sanchez, my number one tonight. And you talk about is juxtaposition the right word between him and Bubic, who are kind of at that same price point, but way different ownerships. Bubic clearly has the better matchup, right? No question about it. But I think, almost equally to that, to me, Sanchez is clearly the better pitcher. Now, not everyone would necessarily agree with that, but that is what I think. Sounds like you kind of are on the same page.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be over on Sanchez. I'm debating. Actually, I'm likely to have him on my main team. It's just a guy that I think we're both going to buy. And I think that you also agree that this is just too cheap of a price for his talent. So I'm going to be over on him. I do think the Phillies bats are interesting here too, against Canning, coming off of that awesome start that he had last time. Still didn't get I don't know. He threw 106 pitches, and now he gets to face the Phillies, who profile really well against righties. They hit well over the weekend too. I'm scared of the Mets pen behind Canning. The Mets pen has been great all year, but I think the Phillies are
mowing down the Mets, and the Phillies are off to a big start. I mean,
yeah, we'll avoid those high-end Mets relievers. So I think the Phillies, especially if you're playing a bunch of lineups here, DC, I think the Phillies have upside to be the highest scoring team on the slate, on a slate where there are no 10K pitchers. There's no 10-8 pitcher that we're spending up for. The highest priced guy is 9K. So I don't think that expensive stacks are going to be as tough to get to on this slate, just because of the way that it lays out with the pricing of the pitching. We have Ober at 6,900, which we'll get to as well. So it's not as prohibitive as it usually is to pay up for your Harpers, your Schwarbers, guys like that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've always kind of thought Canning had decent stuff, but the new models very much disagree. They don't think Canning really is any good at all. So you've given us a Phillies potent lineup, decent hitting weather. Low owned, right? Yeah. I wasn't really on the Phillies, but I like that call a lot. I'm going to join you on some Phillies stacks for sure.
Sabre likes him a lot too, as well.
Yeah, makes sense. St. Louis and Atlanta are up next. Going to be a bullpen game. I think like a true bullpen game here for the Atlanta Braves. We're going to open with Scott Blewett, probably just an inning or two from him against the Cardinals offense, which I don't know. I don't love it, frankly, against the bullpen game. And then Braves will go up against Andre Payante. It's off to a decent start. Results-wise, I'm not a huge believer in Payante. He does get a lot of ground balls, which makes, I think, the Braves stack not that exciting. I could see a case for it, but I'm going elsewhere tonight. Definitely like the Phillies more than the Braves, who we just talked about. Anyway, throw it over to you, Steve. Cardinals and Braves.
Yeah, same. I'm not really into either of these offenses here. Kind of like this to be a lower scoring game. We don't love to attack the bullpen games, and the Cardinals have some pinch hit risk, I think, in their order. Things can just kind of get weird, and on such a big slate, I just don't know if I want to go to the Cardinals here. And then I'm with you on Payante. He's kind of a guy where I'm not going to play him very often, but I'm also rarely going to stack against him because of all the ground balls. He had the poor outing results-wise against the Mets, DC, but 13 ground balls to 3 fly balls.
Yeah.
So, you're just going to have to.
Well, and it's not like the Braves have like speed or steal bases. So, if you get like a team that runs, right? Like the Brewers against a team like Payante where they can string hits and run.
Right.
It doesn't work for the Braves, I don't think.
Yeah. So we're on the Braves last night. I'm off of them here. Probably going to be off of stacking against Payante for the most part. So actually no real interest in this game any which way because, we're not playing the bullpen arm, obviously, and I don't like any bats here either. So this is kind of a cross-off game for me.
I'm with you. Favorite, I do like Nolan Gorman in the 3-hole, 3,300, can play him at second or third, big power. Yeah. Obviously strikeout risk, but he does seem like a pretty good one-off. I wouldn't be surprised if the Cardinals scored 4 or 5 runs, but I think you're going to need more than that tonight, right?
I kept Gorman and Contreras in my pool here.
Yep. I think those are the 2 best. We'll keep it moving. This one is interesting coming up here. Dodgers and Cubs, Wrigley Field. It's been really cold for the most part in Wrigley outside of what did they play there right at the beginning of the year? I think they did.
There was one series where it was warm when I was out of town, of course. But it's in the 70s right now.
Yeah, and then they had this against the D-backs, the first game. I think it was on Friday, and it finished 13-11. It had like 3 grand slams. Mm-hmm. This isn't that degree of weather, right? It's not like a Wrigley win game, but compared to some of the games that they've played there recently, this is a summer day at Wrigley. So we both think this game is going to play. It's going to look more hitter friendly than maybe than the numbers would show it to be. Anyway, 2 interesting pitchers. Shota Imanaga going for the Cubs, lefty. A guy who's had a lot of good results. A guy we both have some questions about, and if he can kind of maintain it. Fly ball pitcher, kind of attacks up in the zone. A pitcher who could give up a lot of home runs, I think. As a style of how he pitches. And then Dustin May going for the Dodgers, who I don't really believe in Dustin May right now. I know he was really good against the Rockies, but I have my doubts about I think he's going to be a low strikeout, high walk guy that gives out a decent amount of hard contact. So he's a guy I do kind of want to pick on with the Cubs. So I actually like both these offenses, and I think most people aren't going to go to this game. Your thoughts here, Steve?
Yeah, I bet the over this morning, DC. It just hit 9, so the market agrees with you. The weather's good. It's not like there's some crazy wind, but it's not blowing in. So neutral wind, temps in the 70s, 2 powerhouse offenses.
Dodgers got like their A+ lineup out there right now.
Against 2 pitchers that we both have question marks about for different reasons. Yeah, I'm a bit higher on the Dodgers just because of the way it goes bad for Imanaga. Is he gives up it's clear how it goes bad for him, right? Bombs, one of the highest fly ball rates.
You can easily see this goes like a back bombs, right? Ohtani, Betts, and Teoscar all just nuke one. Yeah. Feels like one of those that could happen.
He hasn't been missing bats as much as he did last year. Has the 2.2 ERA, but an xFIP near 5 because he's got a 170 BABIP and 90% strand rate. Really, really like the Dodgers, specifically the right-handed power throughout this lineup, right? Betts, the Grouch, Teoscar, Tommy Edman.
Edman, man. Edman crushes lefties.
Edman crushes lefties. Will Smith is in there. So, yeah, I like the Dodgers. They're all under 10% right now, except for Shohei and Edman. And like kind of my point with the Phillies, it's not like the expensive bats are penal on the slate because the pitching's so cheap. I had to use penal there. But yeah, so
not the word I would have chosen, but there you go.
I prefer the Dodgers side. I do get the Cubs side though. I mean, they've just been raking the whole season. While this team is healthy, they're going to be tough to stop offensively, especially the bottom of the order is going to hit in Crow Armstrong, guys like that. So, yeah, I like the over. I prefer the Dodgers side. I'm not playing either of these pitchers at those price tags.
I started the day on the Cubs side of this, but I've switched. I'm on the Dodgers side now. They just clearly have more upside, right? Just with how Imanaga pitches, the power that they have. I'm still going to have some Cubs, but
much worse bullpen too behind the starter.
Yeah, Dodgers are and the away team, so you get the full guaranteed full 9 innings. Yeah, I really like the Dodgers. Really growing on me. Obviously expensive, but we do have some cheap pitchers that we like. We'll get to those guys as we go along. I think enough about Dodgers and Cubs. Twins and White Sox up next. You notice I do have my Byron Buxton Twins jersey here. Can't wear it very often, Steve, because he's hardly ever on the field. But Mr. Buxton getting it done recently. I don't know if you've seen him play recently or noticed, but like among a very underperforming Twins team, he's hitting bombs, stealing bases. What is he up to? He's up to 5 stolen bases, 4 home runs. He just crushed one the other day. One of those where I was like, I almost didn't notice the stats until I saw him do it, and I'm like, I got to look into Buxton. He looks awesome. So, got the jersey on. I think he's a fantastic play. Bailey Ober, barely in the lead a little bit there with Buxton, but Bailey Ober pitching for the Twins here, 6,900 just remains just so. Someone at DraftKings just despises Mr. Bailey Ober because they won't raise the price.
He's always so cheap.
He's always so cheap, and we keep playing him. And I'm going to keep playing him. I mean, he faces the White Sox, and he's too cheap. It's like, what are you going to do?
What do you want us to do? Yeah.
You almost have to play him, I feel like. So I'm playing him. And then, Twins get to go up against fantasy football podcaster Davis Maddock. So they should have a good day as well. I'll throw it to you, Steve. What do you see? Twins and White Sox.
Yeah, I'll start with Ober. Had that awful first start where I know we both played him in that game. Fully rebounded from that disaster. The velocity's fine. Gets this god awful Chicago lineup. I was laughing when you were talking because I pulled up. We've got the starters for the White Sox, and Bobby Dahlbeck is apparently back in the major leagues. He's starting for the White Sox today.
And it's like 42% strikeout rate against right-handed pitching. It's like, okay.
Yeah. And your boy Edgar Cuero's in there hitting 5th. So, just a disaster lineup here. It's a super clean matchup, bottom 2 lineup in the league, top 3 in strikeout percentage. That's going to go up with Bobby Dahlbeck in there. Ober's going to be super popular, obviously. And I think that we should probably end the show talking about the Bubic-Ober combo and how we're dealing with that. But I guess if I had to poke a hole in Ober, it's the pitch count and the manager, right? We've seen him, 4 starts now. He's thrown 77, 84, 73, and 77 pitches. So it's not like he's going to go 100 pitches. So if I had to poke a hole in it, he doesn't have the duration of the guys up top, like Bubic, Bassett, Sanchez. So,
I agree with you. If those hadn't been 6 innings and 6+ innings, so yeah, but 6 innings against the White Sox at 6,900, like you're good. I mean,
yeah, no, I mean, I'm going to play him. I'm just trying to give some devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
So yeah, like he's not going to be a guy who throws 95 pitches like Bubic, like Bassett, like Sanchez are. So kind of talking more about like the pitcher combos, and probably, I don't know, on my main, I'm probably going to try to double spend. But the projection is just so good for the price tag. Like you just have to have some Bailey Ober tonight.
I gotta give credit to Helms22, who's grinding out there, betting Jake Amaya under hits. Very, very specific bet there, Helms. Listen, you're probably onto something if you got Jake Amaya under.
Right. And then the Twins bats. I think we should talk about too, like you said, Buxton. They got the kid Keyshaul's already in the 3-hole.
Have you seen Keyshaul play?
Yeah, because on Friday and on Sunday I played the cheap Twins mini, like the Keyshaul, Brooksley, Jeffers, stuff like that. Actually, it was probably Larnach. But yeah, no, I really like 2 through 4. We've already seen Keyshaul run, which is encouraging. And we had a question in chat earlier about pinch hit risk. I don't think that they're going to pinch hit for him. I think he's up for good, and they want to see what they have with him.
Yeah, he looks like, just watching him play, he looks like a good ball player. He looks confident, strong, fast. I like him. I see some love for him in the chat too. So yeah, Luke Keyshaul right in that 3-hole. They're not going to pinch hit for him. I love that Buxton Keyshaul mini stack.
Yep.
Larnach, can you go to Larnach? I guess you can, right?
I guess you can go to Larnach. I pulled Julian out of the pool. I can't roster this fucking guy anymore.
I think it's a 2-3-4, 2-3 or 2-3-4 with the Twins.
Yeah. I'm with you there. No more Julian for me. Just play Keyshaul at that same second base spot.
Any White Sox bats against Ober?
No. Unless you can talk me up about this catcher that is on like your dynasty team or something.
No, it's just my NFBC team had to get a second catcher, but I think he's an okay play at 2,400, and then I do like Luis Robert a little bit. It's like warm. A ball's going to be flying here. Ober gives up a ton of home runs, like attacks the. Yeah, I don't know. I could see Robert bombing one at.
Benintendi's been pretty hot as well as far as hot goes for Andrew Benintendi.
Yeah, right. Right. Yeah. Actually, I think he's a fine play too. Just you get the leverage too, right? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, you don't have to stack them up, but you can pick the one-offs here, hoping for a bomb against Ober. Which
we don't want to talk too much about these guys because then it'll be construed as we like the White Sox, which we do not. Let's get to Colorado and the Kansas City Royals up next. We got the chalk of the day. We've talked about him at length so far. Chris Bubik going for the Royals. Man, you look at this Rockies lineup, and it's just there's just nothing there. The strikeout rates are just enormous and
crazy.
They get even worse when you take them out of Coors Field, and they're playing obviously in Kansas City here. So Bubik, I think, rightfully projects as the top pitcher of the night, and yeah, he'll be owned like it. So obviously a big discussion there on what to do with Bubik, and then Feltner, super cheap, 6,200. We both like him a little bit. He does get this, really just impotent Royals offense, right? They just never do anything. So I think we both think Feltner has a pretty decent shot at getting through 5 or 6 solid innings, and he's super cheap, 6,200. So some interest in him for both of us. Over to you, Steve, for Rockies and Royals.
Devin's got a great point here. Toglia is striking out 45% of the time. They're so bad they can't even send them down. Bubic is going to project great here. He's going to be the highest one guy on the slate. We talked about earlier, just kind of like what you do, especially in single entry stuff. Because if you just jam him and Ober, I would try to get different somewhere with.
Let's have that conversation now. The Bubik Ober thing, because they both so clearly have the highest point per dollar projection.
Yeah,
I think that a lot of people that play one of them will be inclined to also play the other, right? Because that's like how they got to the first guy in the first place. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so I'm arguing that the pair of them together is going to be just even more disproportionately overowned than each of them individually, if that makes sense.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, the strikeout rates, like you said, for the Colorado guys are so high. I'm probably going to try to get off of one of them in my main. In my 20 lineups, I'll have plenty of both. But for like the 121, I think I'll probably try to get different with one of these arms, leaning the Bubic-Sanchez combo, depending on what bats I can fit. And then Feltner, you mentioned, we're seeing like under 1% on him against, the Royals offense has been pathetic. No pop. They're not the only thing they don't do is strike out a ton. But
every time I turn on the Royals, Bobby Witt hits like a triple to the right center field gap, and then they don't do anything until he comes up again.
Third. They strand him on third base. Yeah, I mean they're dead last in both weighted runs created plus and ISO over the last 2 weeks. On the season, they're dead last in weighted runs created plus and 29th in ISO in the split. You don't need much of Feltner to get over the field here. He's 6,200. I think he's a fine play. I'm going to have some of him here against, and we have to talk about this. The Royals, the entire day, have been steaming up as far as ownership. I think they're going to end up being the highest owned stack on the slate.
The Royals?
Yeah. Sabres got Bobby Witt at 28%, Salvi 23%. The rest of the top 5 at like 20 plus, basically. So that's not something that I'm interested in. I think Feltner's a better arm than people make him out to be, especially outside of Coors. So Kaufman's a big park. I'm going to play some Feltner, and I'm going to be under on the KC bats. I'll leave in, the one-offs, 2-mans, 3-mans, but I'm not full stacking this team right now. They could nuke the Colorado Pen, but it's just not where I want to be over on this slate, where we have some spots that we really, really like.
Yeah, give me some Feltner if the Royals are going to be the absolute chalk. You get it both ways, right? All those Royals teams go to the bottom, and you climb up. So,
20-30% Royals, who have been literally as bad as Colorado and as bad as.
No, let's stop bashing the Royals. The more we bash them, the better chance they have to go off. No Royals.
I'll be under on the Royals.
I'm not playing any Royals. That's for sure. Let's go to Toronto and Houston. Where is this game? There it is. Blue Jays and Astros. We've got, Hunter Brown, by the way, yesterday. I wasn't on him, but dude looked absolutely sick against the Blue Jays team. I didn't think he could get the strikeouts anyway. Different story tonight. Ronel Blanco, who's not nearly as good as Hunter Brown, going against this usually low strikeout Blue Jays squad. I honestly didn't even really look at the Blue Jays that closely. There's too many other good teams that I like, but if you want to make the case for them, I guess I could see it against Blanco. And then Chris Bassett, who's been awesome this year. He had a terrible season last year, was absolutely crushed by lefties last year. Interestingly, Steve, he was still really good against right-handed hitters last year when he was bad overall.
Yeah.
And now he's good again, and he faces this Astros team that has, once again, 8 right-handed hitters in the lineup. Do you even have another lefty on the roster? I'm not even sure. But it's just, this is a nice spot for Chris Bassett. Curious where you ended up with Bassett, and then obviously talk about offense here if you want to as well.
Yeah, start with Bassett, 9K. Kind of looks like sticker shock for him, right? A bit expensive for him, but just such a clean spot for him. I think every show I've been on this season, DC, if it's a righty against Houston, I'm like, all right, we got to play him. Tried to be on that early with just how bad they're going to be. It's not even that they have good right-handed bats, especially in the back half of the order. Like, they just have guys who are not going to.
This is could not be a better matchup, for Bassett. Even beyond just the basic numbers. It's just,
Yeah, he's obviously off to the awesome start this year. It's backed up by the metrics, and like you said, he's just been death on right-handed hitters over the last couple of years. The strikeout rate is elevated in the split. 0.67 ISO allowed in the split the last 2 years to righties. Jordan has owned him. I'll keep him in the pool as a one-off, but
he has 5 home runs and 15 plate appearances or something.
Yeah, I sent it earlier because a friend sent it to me. So we'll keep him in the pool, but bottom 5 offense in baseball against right-handed pitching. I want to just kind of keep streaming righties against the Astros, and this is a good spot for one. And also another pivot off of Bubic if you wanted to in that same price range, that Bassett, Bubic, Sanchez trio. I'm going to be high on all 3 of them. I think it's interesting to kind of pivot around if you are playing some of the popular stuff. So I'm super high on Bassett here. No Blanco for me. And then I haven't really played Toronto much the entire season. They're kind of like the Royals in that they don't strike out, but they also haven't really done much damage. They don't have Santander in the lineup because he's been terrible. This is after the top four. This is a really rough lineup. So I don't think I'll get to much or any Toronto besides maybe like a Vlad one-off. I'll probably keep him in the pool. But this game's all Bassett for me.
Yeah, shout out our guy Gary here talking about Bassett being a legit ace. And so I think the answer is clearly no to that question, which is my concern with Bassett, right? You are paying the ace price on the slate. Yeah. And if you look at like the stuff plus and the location plus, his stuff plus is all the same, but the command has been much better. But that's something that you would expect maybe to come and go a little bit, right? Your command of your pitches if they haven't changed at all. So that's my only qualm about Bassett. The matchup, though, is just so clean that I think his stuff's good enough in this matchup to pitch really well. So, yeah, in on Mr. Bassett. Let's keep it moving. Pittsburgh and the Angels are up next. We go, 4 West Coast games to finish out this slate. So 4 late games on the slate, which is fun as well. Jose Soriano going for the Angels. Hard-throwing right-hander. Fun pitcher to watch. Doesn't get as many strikeouts as you would think he would with just watching him pitch with the stuff that he brings to the table. But a good young pitcher for sure. Gets an awesome matchup here against the Pirates. I think he's interesting at 8,300. And then Bailey Falter, kind of just your run-of-the-mill lefty, low strikeouts, bit of a soft tosser up against the Angels, who I know from our talks prior to the show you're in on as well. Like the spot a lot, especially for those Angels bats. Let's get into it, Steve. Pirates and Angels here.
Yeah, we actually just got the Angels lineup a couple of minutes ago, so perfect timing here. Just refreshed in Sabre. We'll start with Soriano, which he was a bit cheaper here, like the upside at that 8,300 tag. I don't love, but in a matchup against Pittsburgh, DC, you could see like 7 clean innings here, just him kind of grinding to low to mid 20s.
There'd be a lot of slates where he'd be my SP1. I just feel safe about getting to 20. But yeah, I just think we're going to see some big performances tonight, so it's tough.
Yeah, I mean, this Pirates lineup has just been so bad. 7th highest strikeout rate, bottom 5 in both weighted runs created plus an ISO in a game that I know we're both going to be on the Angels bats here, so a good chance for the win bonus too for Soriano at home here. I really like him in the plus matchups. He's not a guy where I'm going to shove in against anyone, right? Like we're going to do with Sanchez, like we talked about. But in plus matchups, I do want to play Soriano, and that's what this is. So if he were any cheaper, he would be super popular, just like Uber. But he is more expensive. So I'm going to have some Soriano here. He seems super safe. But yeah, I think the story here is the Angels bats against, I think you put it best, run-of-the-mill lefty Bailey Falter. Like,
yeah,
the way this Angels lineup sets up right now against left-handed pitching is awesome. They've been great all season. They just got Zach Neto back. I put in the playbook, and we were talking earlier, like the upgrade from Tim Anderson to Zach Neto is just astronomical. He's hitting second tonight, big pop, and I'm seeing everyone under 10% in this Angels team. I think like the Angels are awesome plays tonight. I think they're viable for like a main lineup, DC. Just their entire 9 outside of Kevin Newman, who I'm not going to get involved with much. His profile is so well against left-handed pitching. Ward, Neto, Trout, Soler, O'Hop, Adele, Paris.
All of them. I mean, yeah, not to cut you off, but like if you look at Falter, so all those hitters have like a good amount of just power, right? And they all are guys who like to swing for the fences. Now you put a lefty out there who has, K rate against righties is like 16%. The ground ball rate is 35%, so really low. So what's going to happen in this game is these Angels right-handed hitters with power are going to be hitting the ball up in the air against Falter. And that, I mean, I'll take my chances with Joe Adell and Trout and Ward and Ohapi and Neto. All those guys, you put a good swing on a Falter just lobbed in fastball, and you got a good chance for home run. So,
another spot where the team total has been climbing all afternoon too.
Bad Pirates bullpen behind it is what behind Falter as well. So, yeah, love the Angels. How popular are they going to be? Have you
I see everyone under 10% here.
That's crazy. Everybody's playing the Royals.
Everyone's playing the Royals and the Twins today.
Oh man, I hope the Royals don't. I didn't even I'm nervous too because I didn't even consider the Royals when I was doing.
Now the 37% Bobby Witt first inning bomb.
Yeah.
I can see it now.
Just crush, and then all our plays, do pretty well, but it's just the Royals just do too much. Probably with 40 to 45 points.
Yeah.
I hope that doesn't happen.
It might. I mean, they're all
exactly. I got to push it in. It's a Royals slate. This is Joe Ruff's got exactly right. You'd be getting me more
show.
Exactly. Oh man, how do you rank the Angels? Because I kind of want to play all these guys, but you can't fit them all in one lineup. Or obviously, in terms of exposure, what are you doing? Because I think they're all really good plays. So where do you mostly want to go with the Angels' right-handed power?
Yeah, I think my 5-man, I'm going to start with the top 3 for sure, and then Paris, O'Hop. 1 second, I have something beeping. Go ahead.
All right, go get your bagel bites, Steve. Steve will be back with lunch. Steve is going to rank the Angels, but he has departed, so I'll do it instead. Sorting here. I've got a Trout 1, Ohapi 2, Ward 3, Neto 4, then Soler, Paris, and then even Rengifo is in. Yeah, there you go, Steve. You're back.
Rengifo's not in the lineup is the issue.
Oh, it's not?
Yeah, they're starting Kevin Newman over him, which is a real bummer.
Painful. All right. It's very disappointing.
Yeah, it's Ward, Neto, Trout, Soler, Ohapi, Shanuel, Adele, Paris, Newman.
So the 2 I'm leaving out are Shanuel and Newman. You doing the same? Everybody else is in? Yeah,
for sure. I think for me, if I'm building the 5-man, I'm going to try to make it like Ward, Neto, Trout, Adele, Paris, like a little wraparound, maybe something like that.
Yeah. This is a good question from Uncle T. How many bagel bites can I put away in 10 minutes?
A lot. I don't know. Are they fresh out? Because when they come fresh out, they're just so hard to eat because they're so goddamn hot. It's like
they get to cool a little bit. Yeah, you can cool.
Okay, yeah. 40, 60.
I was gonna say 45 bagel bites in 10 minutes.
1 every 15 seconds for 10 minutes. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Wow.
No, apparently my fridge battery thing is dead, so I just unplugged it, so we're good to go.
Your fridge is dead?
Yeah, fridge is dead. Got to call maintenance after the show. No bagel bites for me.
Listen, Uncle T, let me know if you want some action. I know you got some fresh stacks over there that want to get back and play. We can do something. Anything else? Angels, Pirates? Are you on any O'Neal Cruz? I guess it would probably be a good one-off. I think I'd stop there with the Pirates.
Yeah, him and Reynolds are the only bats that I kept in on the Pirates side. Like we've been saying, pitching is cheap enough that Saber's going to give you some expensive one-offs today. So I don't mind it at all.
Yeah, makes sense. Let's get to
62 McNuggets in 20 minutes. Oh my God. That's some serious business there. I bet you felt like shit for 3 days after.
I'm a pretty good competitive eater, but I think that's beyond what I could do. At least all right.
We've been shamed by Garrett Leary.
Yeah, I've been one up. That's fair. Tampa Bay and the Diamondbacks up next in Arizona. Obviously, Another game, Steve, that I kind of like for offense here. Brendan Pfaadt going for the D-backs. Yeah, I kind of liked him when he came up. I've kind of soured on him a little bit over the years. We disagree on him a little bit, but he's still a guy that I really like to pick on with left-handed bats. And then Zach Littell going for the Rays. Been really bad so far, and I don't know if you looked into him closely, but his stuff is down across the board. Like he looks kind of busted to me. Does Mr. Zach Littell? So I'm in on the offenses here, specifically the Rays lefties. Aranda, Lowe, and Meisner, I think, are the three best. And then D-backs, kind of like this whole stack. Where you at, Steve, with D-backs and Rays?
Yeah, roof open too in Arizona. Just double check their website. The roof is open, I believe, all series here. I wrote this on the playbook on both sides. I really like the lefties. Pfaadt is a guy where I'll usually play some of, but I think he's in the pool just because of his projection here. But I don't love him. Like he's out of the 6 or 7 guys that we talked about, he's my least favorite. We don't have a lineup on either side yet, but hopefully Simpson's leading off for Tampa because that would add one more left.
He will be. He'll be leading off.
So that gives us 5 lefties that we want to play, right? Aranda, Lowe, Simpson, Meisner, Mangum, something like that. So I do like the Rays here with the focus on the lefties. I think I'll only include the righties in like that full stack, whereas I'll make a rule if it's a 1, 2, or 3 man, it'll only pull from the left-handed bats. Is kind of how I'm going to do it on the Rays side. And the Arizona at home here with the roof open. You said it with Littell. He's just not right. And this might be a spot where like he was kind of getting away by pitching on the fringes anyways, right? Like, it's not like he was a dominant guy. He was a guy who just didn't walk anyone. And that was like his,
he reminds me
like
of
his best attribute, right? Is that he didn't walk anyone.
He's like a Bryce Elder. He like runs hot for a while and people think but it's like, no, this will turn back into a pumpkin. That's what feels like happened to Zach Littell.
Yeah. And if Saber's right, everyone besides Carroll under 6% on the Snake side here, because everyone's playing the Royals and the Twins. So
I gotta bet the Royals like over or something.
I know we got to just parlay the top 4 bomb props for the Royals or like their total bases. Or
need some insurance against the goddamn chalk Royals tonight is what I need.
Yeah, I love the Snakes here. I like both sides. One of the best spots on the slate. We don't have either lineup like we said, but Corbin Carroll clearly back. God, he's been so awesome the entire year.
He's amazing.
One of the best plays on the entire slate, I think, here against Littell. So yeah, I'm on bats on both sides. I'll have a small amount of Pfaadt, but not much, and no Littell. So yeah, lean on the lefties, specifically the on the Rays side. Don't
overlook my guy Geraldo Perdomo. He's no longer the slap hitter he once was. This guy rakes. I'm telling you, Perdomo. He's going to steal bags. He's going to have a big season for the Rays. If you look into
Gary has a good point about the Arizona stacks. They took away the outfield eligibility for Pavin Smith for some reason. So now their 3-4 hitters are both only first base only. That is tilting. What the fuck?
Yeah. And then so people that don't know Chandler Simpson, he just got up here, but he's like the fastest dude in baseball. He stole 104 bases in, I think, 109 games last year. And assuming he's leading off, that means that they will run on.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't lead him off unless you're absolutely planning to steal at least second, right? And
he just needs to get on base. That's all you need if you roster him.
It's in the minor leagues, he hit 17% of the balls in the air. So because he just like slaps it all over the field.
Yeah, the Willie Mays Hayes. Hit the ball on the ground. You have me 100 push-ups.
He's like the only one that plays like that now. But yeah. It's really fun to watch. He's fun to watch. And then I really like Aranda has been absolutely insane. I feel like I should have been on him more, honestly.
Meisner, yeah.
Meisner can absolutely rake too. So I do like these lefties for the D-backs, or for the Rays rather, quite a bit. And then only one lefty in the pen for the D-backs, I believe. AJ Puck got hurt, so I think they just have – it's like their first guy. It's kind of like a long – I can't remember his name. But I do think the Rays pinch hit guys are a little bit safer than normal. It specifically would be Simpson and Meisner.
We just got the Snakes lineup. Thanks, James. I believe that is the exact same 9 that they have in the same order on Sabre, if you are using Sabre.
That first 4 specifically, Carroll, Perdomo, Smith, and Naylor could do a lot of damage, I think, against I
just wish we could play Smith and Naylor in the same lineup.
Yeah.
DK partner.
That's one where you just make one lineup and then you make another with the other guy.
I actually had a good one last week. It was one of the shorter slates where like I played Naylor and it was the one where Smith had 2 bombs and you're just like, God damn it. I wish I could have played both those guys.
It does suck. Yeah.
It's the worst.
Because you absolutely would have.
No
question about it. Anything more on Snakes and Rays? I don't think so.
No, just it's going to be an interesting slate because we're what feels like kind of against the grain here, which feels good.
Yeah, it does. Doesn't always work.
Now, we are fading the stacks against the White Sox and the Royals or the Rockies. So
that's all right. We got this. Let's go to Milwaukee and San Francisco next. Jose Quintana going for the Brewers. Throw him in the Bailey Falter run-of-the-mill lefty bucket. Mr. Quintana, obviously been around a long time. Kind of know what to expect from him. I do think he's a good target with right-handed power for sure. And then Jordan Hicks, who throws hard, isn't that great at anything else. Doesn't often get blown up either, though. Just the lefties. I think Turang, Yelich, I guess some speed could work. Maybe some interest in the Brewers who let me down last night. That's for sure. We're gonna see JT in a banana costume, so it's all good. But that was not great.
They got off to such a good start in that game too. Like Robbie Ray had 65 pitches in the top of the third. And I had like a 5-man Braves with 80 from my pitchers with a couple Brewers like, we're going to win the 121 tonight. And then they just absolutely nothing the rest of the game.
JT's team in the 888 was sick with the Brewers.
I know. And he just got nothing from them too. God, that sucks.
Yeah.
Frelick. So I think I don't love the Brewers here just because Hicks is so ground ball heavy. Kind of feels like a discount Soriano type of guy, right? Where he's just throwing 98-mile-an-hour sinkers the entire game. Tough to stack against. So not really in on the Brewers much. I guess you could play the lefties here. And then, Quintana gives up right-hand power. So Ramos, Adames, Chapman, Flores. Flores hit another bomb last night. He's off to a crazy start this year.
He got seven of them.
I'm sure he'll be in Big T's core.
He passed Judge. He's got more bombs than Judge.
He passed Judge. Wilmer Judge is just crushing out there. He will likely be in Big T's score because Big T will see in the box score they hit a bomb last night. So
I feel like Big T should have shipped a couple slates with Flores already. He's got 7 bombs on the season.
Yeah, and he's going to end the season with 17. But so I think you can play the right-handers here. I just don't really want a full stack against in this spot just because these other spots I like so much that I'm not getting to much of these guys here. Matos also hits lefties well, but he's a big pinch hit risk in the 6-hole there. Lee has been better than I thought he was going to be. He's really impressed offensively, but he's now 5K. So this is more one-off spots here. A couple of the Brewers lefties, and then the top of the 1, 2, 4, 5 as one-offs for the Giants.
Yep, playing it the exact same way. Specifically, I do really, really like Bryce Turang. I don't love the Brewers overall, but I just could see him like slapping 3 hits and stealing 5 bases on Jordan Hicks.
Can we run on Hicks here?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. 11 for 11 base stealers last year and 109 innings for Hicks. So
all right, bumping up Turang.
Yeah, he's gonna run, and it's gonna work. All right, let's get to the last game on the slate. We saved the best for last year. We've got Patrick Corbin back in our lives and coming off a gem against the Angels, who were also that doesn't feel good to.
We're also stacking against with a shitty lefty today.
Wish I wouldn't have learned that on this last game of the slate. My confidence suffering. Maybe we should play some Royals tonight.
Here come the Royals.
No, Corbin will take on the A's here. I think the A's going to be popular. I mean, hard not to like guys like Langoliers. Langoliers and Rooker, I think, specifically stand out to me. Of course, you can go for a full A stack against Patrick Corbin, which many people will do, I'm sure. And then a lot of people on Texas, too, I think, against Osvaldo Bido, which I get. Not a great pitcher, but I'm more excited about Texas than the Royals, but I'm kind of out on this team, too. So I'm kind of out on the Rangers. I do like the A's. Where you at, Steve? A's and Rangers here in Sacramento.
I like both sides here. We'll start with the Rangers since you don't like them as much, and then we can both talk about the A's. Bido, he's got a good ERA so far. I've been really, really lucky though. 2.61 ERA, worst xFIP on the whole slate. We've talked about some really shitty pitchers. 5.37 xFIP so far. He's an extreme fly ball pitcher, only 26% ground ball rate, who's only given up one bomb all season. So that's a 2% home run to fly ball ratio. League average is right around 10 or so. He doesn't miss bats. He has walk issues in this park against a team that does have power bats. They haven't done that much this year, but man, they are cheap. I think that's going to fit really well DC, which is why they're projecting to be higher around. Like Corey Seager's 4,300. Josh Smith is probably going to hit third at 3K. Semion's 3,100. Albombi's 4K. Langford 4,400. Josh Jung 3,200. They're just really cheap against a guy who is going to give up power, and it's probably going to turn on him at some point where these fly balls are going to start to fly out. And in that park is a good spot for it to happen. So
you're right. I'm walking it back. I'm walking it back on the Rangers. I think they make a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's just a great spot for their power bats here.
There's almost too many good spots tonight.
I know, which is why I might even condense my pitching even more and just play a couple pitchers and then just spread out these good spots in my 20 lineups for offense. But
who's the best Ranger? Is Seager? It's got to be Seager.
Definitely Seager. Seager, Albombi, Langford. Yeah. Josh Jung is cheap. He hasn't done much yet, but we know he has pop. Josh Smith.
I like that trio: Seager, Adolis, and Wyatt. Right? That's got to be.
Yeah.
Josh Smith. He's looked decent.
Yep, he's probably going to hit third at 3K tonight. First base and third base eligible. So you don't have to play Jake Berger in your stack. I'm going to go bet the Jake Berger home run prop. Now that I said that, but So the A's side, I'll let you have awesome spot for the A's here.
Yeah, the question is, how crazy do you go with it, right? I do still think. Do you agree with me that Rooker and Langoliers are like clearly the best two, or do you think it's close between Soderstrom and Butler?
I don't think it's as close just because the left on left with both of those guys, and Soderstrom's been hot, but he doesn't have like this long history yet of like mashing.
Corbin hasn't given up that much power to lefties, right? So
yeah. No, I think Langoliers and Rooker by far.
Yeah.
And I kind of like the wraparound because like those kids aren't bad. Wilson has been all right. So I kind of like that. But yeah, and Duhar's cheap. It's just a great stack.
What about Arias down there at the bottom?
I don't see him in the projected lineup here.
It's out now. We have the lineup.
Okay.
Yeah, Luis Arias hitting ninth. I think.
Yeah, has hit anyone in this lineup that is facing Corbin is going to be in play for me.
Yeah.
I'll be stacking the entire thing. I would say probably easier to say who your least favorite are, right? Bleday, if he's in there. I haven't seen it yet pop up. But
Yeah, Bleday's in there 6. Andujar, Wilson, Urshela, Urias.
okay, yeah, I'd say my least favorite's Bleday, Bleday and Urshela probably.
Yeah, I think so too. And then I would go maybe Wilson, Andujar after that, just for the lack of power with those guys. Give me the power bats, right? Against Corbin. That's what you really want.
Yeah, he's given up more bombs as a left-handed pitcher than anyone in baseball, and I think the guy behind him has thrown like 70 less innings than him.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a great spot on both sides here. The game stack fully in play. The A's are expensive, but like we've been saying throughout the show, like they aren't more expensive than Philly or the Dodgers or anything like that. Like, and we're going to be able to fit this if you play guys like Uber. So
I like it. That is all the games. Do we get any lineups that we haven't talked about that looked weird? I don't think so. I think everybody has been in that we expected to so far.
The only one was for the A's. I thought Muncy would be in there, and it's Urias, but that's about it. That doesn't really matter too much.
All right. Let's do.
We did get the Astros lineup. It does have 8 righties in again.
That's what I'm saying. I don't even know if they have another lefty because I haven't seen
like the manager's in his office today looking at the stats. He's like, all right, so we got Bassett here. He's definitely on righties, but I have no one that I can use. So I'm starting Brandon Rogers in the 6 hole tonight.
Their solution was to move Jordan up 1 spot in the order.
Yeah. Maybe he'll catch an extra at bat in the 9th or something.
It's just what? Who came up with this plan? Like, I don't. It's just ridiculous that they don't have any lefties. It's amazing for.
Yeah, and their righties aren't guys who hit righties very well either.
No.
Yeah, they stink.
Yeah, let's do pitching. Go back to pitching. Do we have ownership updates?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. What are you coming in with? So is this flagship ownership?
Flagship, yeah. Check this out. Flagship, Bubic 46%, Ober 39%, Sanchez 27, Soriano 20-ish, Bassett 15, Fought 15, Feltner 0.5. Imanaga 10, guys like that. So yeah, the Bubic Ober combo combining for over 80% ownership.
What's Feltner's K projection? It can't be that bad, is it?
I think it's 3.5. We got to take that over, just for the brand.
No. The way better play is playing him in DFS at 0.5 and taking the over on the Ks. But yeah. So I was hoping Sanchez would be lower than that, but it sounds like people are.
I think he's come up a bit just because there aren't that many options that are even remotely good.
I still think I think the gap between Bubic and Sanchez is going to be higher than
the penal play of the day, Ryan Feltner.
That is exactly right. Yeah, I don't know. If those numbers are right between Bubic and Sanchez, like I think Bubic's just as good a play as Sanchez, but it's hard for me to move off my guy Christopher Sanchez. I think I'm holding strong over here, Steve.
I think I'm just going to play both in my main at least, and just try to make that work. Try to find the 2K from Ober to Sanchez if I'm able to.
I think it's pretty close between Bubic and Ober on a point per dollar basis.
Yeah, clearly the 2 best, which is why they're so owned here. But yeah, no, I think for both of us, Sanchez and Bassett are going to be like the most important, like the most over the field guys. And then the penal play of the day, Ryan Feltner as well. I'm going to play him in one. I got to have some Feltner.
I was building some lineups, and I almost had to have him when I wanted all the Dodgers and Angels power in my lineup.
He only projects for 12 less DK than Bailey Uber for 700 less.
That's one home run. No big deal.
Yeah, we'll get that from who? From Kyron Paris, someone like that.
Yeah. All right. we got a few minutes here, normal slate time. We'll do we haven't done one of these yet this year, but we'll fire it up first time on the season. Impromptu dong draft. See, we're going to draft home runs. How many rounds do we want to go on this?
Let's do 3.
3 rounds.
Let me write these down.
Yeah, I'm writing them down too. And we'll revisit it next show we're on together.
All right.
What about, is there any bonus for price or odds or anything? Otherwise, so we don't just pick the chalkiest of the chalk. Big T's in. He's got Wilmer Flores. He only needs 1 pick. Home runs coming.
If you pick someone under 3,500, you get 1.5 if they dong.
All right, I like that. 3,500 or under.
Yeah.
Good, because I got a $3,500 guy. So
we just got the Rangers lineup. Let's pause real quick. Smith leading off. Smith, Langford, Seager, Garcia, Semien dropped to 5th. Jock Peterson is in there. I'm not sure he has a fucking hit on the season.
You go ahead and draft Jock Peterson.
Yeah. Higashioka's in there. Josh Young, Berger. Yeah, so Smith is leading off is the big news there.
All right, you want to go first or I can go first?
You go ahead and go first here. I have not looked, so I got to pull it up.
I'm going with God, there's a lot of good choices tonight. I got Mike Trout.
All right, I'm going to go with Wyatt Langford as my first one. Wyatt Langford. First year Trout.
I got Tommy Edman.
Tommy Edman versus my I've got to do this. Bobby Witt. Got to cover our asses a little bit.
You're cheering against your own draft. That's good. That's a good move. I should have done that.
One more. I got to do a cheap one.
Yeah. Give me Keyshaw. Gets us first.
That's what I was going to take. All right. So you got Keyshaw.
JSU's in with Andrew Vaughn. Interesting choice, but okay, JSU.
No, this is a home run thing, JSU, not a strikeout parlay. I'm gonna go.
Rooker's an easy choice.
Yeah, no, I want a cheap guy. I'm gonna go with Joe Adell. Yeah. Joe Adell, 3,200 there.
Really good.
As my under 3,500 guy. So we got Langford, Bobby Witt, Joe Adell versus Trout, Edman, Keyshaw. And Joe Adell and Keyshaw get the 1.5x. So those would be big ones.
I can't believe you picked Bobby Witt. Now this is I could have cheered for all these players, but I can't be cheering for Bobby Witt.
Trying to win something tonight, DC. I got to win the home run.
Win our dong draft, which is worth
win the dong draft.
Precisely nothing. That'll be a good consolation.
45% Bobby Witt goes yard twice.
All right. Overall favorite play on the slate. Just one guy, Steve. That's obviously similar to what we just did, but give me your guy. Give me your guy tonight.
Zach Neto, shortstop hitting second, 4K. Just came back over the weekend. Really, really love the Angels lefties here tonight, or righties against the left-handed falter. So I'll go Zach Neto.
Love it. On board with that one. I'll go to the Jersey. Mr. Byron Buxton has a day for the Twins. Maybe a couple home runs and a steal. I think he gets going on both. That'll do it for this edition of the show. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. For Steve Boynton, I'm DC. We're out of here.